and welcome to my YouTube channel again. So again, I'm here today and I have created a login form using HTML and CSS, but this login form is a little special. So what is special in this login form is that out of all the effects that I put here is, you notice that here I have a button which is a toggler. So here if I click on, you will see that we can switch between different forms, which is sign in and login. So let's create a that, but before we start writing codes, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos just like this one. So here I have already inserted a folder called login and sign in form, and inside this we have images, and it's time to start. So I'm gonna create an index.html file. So inside that index.html file, I'm gonna type HTML5 and it's just going to generate this for us. And here I'm just gonna pass a log and sign in form. So after that, out of this, I'm gonna come in the body and create our container. So I'm gonna say container, and after that, inside this container, we're gonna create our form. So I'm gonna say form, and it's going to have no action because we are not going to work with backend. And after that, I'm gonna create our toggle, our toggler. So here I'm gonna say toggle, and inside this, I'm just gonna pass a span. So I'm gonna say span. And after that, out of this, I'm gonna come and create the other things, the h1, which is going to hold the login. And after that, here I'm gonna come and create an input, which is type is going to be email, and it's going to have a placeholder. So I'm gonna say placeholder of enter your email. So after that, out of this, we need to duplicate this. So I'm gonna come here and say password. Password shouldn't be capital. Password, and inside its type, you're just gonna give password and say password. So after that, I'm gonna create another p tag. Inside this p tag, we're gonna say forget password with a question mark, and the last thing we're gonna do is to create a button, and inside this button we're gonna create a span. So inside out of this span, I'm gonna create I'm gonna say submit. So that's all with HTML, and after that it's time to install it. To do so, I'm gonna go here and create a style.css file, and make sure you are connected with your HTML. So here I'm gonna come and say a link, and it's going to be style.css. Now I'm gonna go and install.css, and I'm gonna select everything here. So I'm gonna say everything and set its margin to 0 and also its padding to 0. Out of this, I'm gonna select the body. So I'm gonna say body, and we're gonna give it the background. So I'm gonna say background, and it's going to be an URL, and it's going to inside the images, and inside the images we have the background.jpg, and we're gonna fix it. So I'm gonna say background position to center, and also background size is going to be to cover. So to open it up in a browser, right click on, and if you are installed the live server, you will have the option of open with live server, and this is going to open it up in the browser. So it's repeated. I'm just gonna come here, and here I'm gonna say background repeat, no repeat, no repeat. We're gonna give it some width and height. I'm gonna say width of 100% and a height of 100 VH. So that's all. Now I'm gonna come out of this and select our container. So I'm gonna say container, and actually I'm gonna get rid of this here. I'm just gonna cut it out, and here in the container we're just gonna paste them down here. So now it didn't fix it, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. Before copy this out, cut it actually here, and get rid of this container. So after that, In the main project, I didn't do that like this, but in this, I don't know what's the problem. So after that, I'm gonna select the container itself. So I'm gonna say container. I'm gonna set its display to flex. So I'm gonna say display flex. And also, we're gonna give it the justify content of center and align items to the center, items to center, and that's all. So these are put here that they should be at the center too. So I'm gonna just copy this out again. Copy and paste it down there. And there we have it. So after that here, I'm gonna come and select the form itself. So I'm gonna say form, and inside the form, we just again we're gonna set its display to flex, and justify actually flex direction to column, and we're gonna give it a padding of 5 rem, and text align to center, text align to center. You could see that it's going to look like this, and we're gonna give it a background, and its background is going to be an RGBA color, which is 19, 19, 19, and 0.5. And we're gonna give it a margin of 10 pixel and position to relative. No, I'm not gonna give it right now because you may get confused when putting this. So you see that it's going to look like this, and after that, out of this form, I'm gonna come and select the F1. So each one. Let's say form each one. And after this, we're just gonna set its background to dark orange. And also, we're going to give it a padding of 2 rem from the top and bottom and 0 from the sides. So now it's looking like this. And I'm going to select our input. So let's say input. And inside the input, we're going to set its width to 100%. Now I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm gonna set its background to transparent. So I'm gonna say background transparent, and the next thing I'm gonna do is to give it a border of none, and border from the bottom, it's going to be solid 1 pixel, and its color is going to be dark orange. Ta-da! Now here, I'm gonna come and give it a margin of 1.3 rem from the top and bottom and 0 from the sides. And text align to the center. So I'm gonna say text align to center. Center. And we're gonna give outline. We're gonna get rid of the outline. You notice here when I put my cursor on, it's get this outline. So I'm gonna get rid of that and say outline and set it to none. So even if I put my focus on here, you could see that there is nothing. So after that, I'm gonna come here and give it a color of dark orange, and also font width is going to be something like bolder. There's bold and bolder, so we select the bolder, and we're gonna give it a font size of 18 pixel. So this was from our inputs. Now it's time to install this forget password a little. To do so, I say form, and this there inside the form we had a p tag, so again just set its color to white, and we're gonna give it a text decoration of underline. We have underline here. So after that, it's time to install the button here. So I'm gonna select the button. So I'm gonna say button form. Inside the form we have the button, and we'll also give it a background of transparent. We're gonna give it a padding of 0.5 from the top and bottom, and 1 rem from sides. We're gonna give it a border of dark, actually solid dark 1 pixel dark orange. and its color is going to be dark orange too, dark orange. And we're gonna give it a margin, so I'm gonna say margin. From the top and bottom it's going to be 2 rem, and from the sides 0. Then we're gonna give it a font size, so I'm gonna say font size, and its font size is going to be 16 pixel, and we're gonna give it a font width of bold. I told you there was bold and bolder, and its position is going to be relative because we're going to design the span here. Then so I'm gonna come here and select the span, so I say span. Inside this we're just gonna set its position to absolute, because the button is relative, and we're gonna set it to the top 0 and left also 0, and the index is going to be -1, and width of 100%, and transition, because we're gonna set a hover effect, this is going to take 0.5 seconds. So there we do not have the span because we didn't give it a didn't give the background. So to do it, I'm going to come here and give it a background. So background for now is going to be red, to see that it's not there, because I'm gonna come here and in the container we're gonna set its display, I mean it's a z index to -2, z index -2, and I'm gonna go here, and here we set it's to -1. We do not have it. That is because we did not give it a height of 100%. Oh, what happened? So its position is absolute and this position is relative. This should work according to the button. I don't know why I didn't. So again, I'm gonna go in the form and set its position also to relative. So I'm gonna come here in the form, and its position going to be relative. Let's say position or relative. Now the span took, because we have two span here. So I'm gonna come here and we're gonna say that the span is, select that span that is inside the button. So I say button and span. There we go, we have it. So after that, I'm gonna set this width to 0, and we're gonna get rid of this color, or actually I'm gonna put it here, but I'm gonna set it to dark orange. So I'm gonna say dark orange, and we're gonna go here and put the hover effect on. So I'm gonna say button whenever we hover on, button whenever we hover on what we are going to do on a span. We're just gonna go and set its width to 100%, and you remember that here I gave it a transition, so it's going to occur like this. Ta-da! So everything is done, but the main point of part of this application left, which was the toggle that you saw in the main project that we do have here. So I'm gonna come here and select the toggle. I don't know if I gave it a class of toggle. Yes, I did it. So I'm gonna come here and select toggle. So I'm gonna say toggle, and inside this we're just gonna give it a width of 4 rem, a height of 2 rem, and also background is going to be an RGB color, which is going to be 50 RGBA, 50, 50, 50, and 0.9. And after that, here I'm gonna give it a position of absolute, and we're gonna give it a right of 2 rem, and border radius of 10 pixel. Ta-da! Here we have it. And after that, we're gonna select the span inside this. So I'm gonna come here and select the toggle, and inside this we have a span. What we want to do with this span, so I'm gonna give the width of 2 pixel, 20 pixel actually. Its height is also going to be 20 pixel, and we're gonna give it a background of orange. So we're gonna go here. We do not have it because we're gonna set it as behind the text. So I'm gonna say z index, and it's z index, so it's going to be 1. So there isn't. So what I'm gonna do is to select the toggle. Did I type the toggle well? I'm just gonna copy this from here and come here and paste it down here, and select from select the span. Inside the span we have the z index, and I'm gonna give it some margin top of what I'm gonna pass margin top of 5 pixel and margin left of 4 pixel, margin left of 4 pixel, and the last thing we're gonna give it a border radius of 50% because we want it to look like a bow. So we do not have it here because this is going to be a span. That's fine. So why do we not have it here? Because of the span position. Did I give it a position? Yeah, all the span got the position of where we do have it here. We have select this, and here I'm gonna come again. I'm gonna set its position to relative or absolute. So, and here I am, and this is our button. And now we're gonna do some magic using JavaScript. To do so, I'm gonna create a script.js here. So I'm gonna come here and say script.js. So after that, here we need some stuff to select. So I'm gonna create a variable, call it toggle button, and we're gonna access it. To do so, I'm gonna say document.query selector, and inside this we're just gonna pass the toggle. So I'm gonna say toggle actually, because it's a class, and we need to duplicate this, and we need the span inside the toggle, and also I'm gonna change this to toggle span, and also we need it one more time. This is going to be the title. The title is this one. So I'm going to select the each one here. So I say each one, and after this I'm gonna create a variable. So we want to, whenever we click on this, do something. So I want to click the toggle button. So I'm going to say toggle button and add an event listener to it. This is going to listen to a click event, and after that it's going to call a callback function. I'm going to say function, and this is a regular function. You can use either a regular or arrow function, but I'm good with regular functions. So inside this we're just gonna move this a little. So to do it, I'm gonna say toggle, and we're gonna select the span, and we're gonna select it's a style of a presenter. So after that, here we wanted to give it a margin right. So I'm gonna say margin right, and this is going to be we should use the number. So I'm gonna give it something like 30 pixel. Whenever we click on, this should move a little. So I'm gonna say 30, and here inside this I'm gonna click on. There's a problem because we didn't connect our JavaScript with HTML. So I'm gonna say a script, and and its src is going to be a script.js, and it's going to be differ. So now if I click on, do we select this well? So I'm gonna come here and just alert something if it's working well. So I'm gonna say alert and say working. Yeah, it's working, but we can't fix it. So to do it, because its position, we set its position to that, I can give it a right of 30 pixels. So now alert, it moves a little, so we need to increase this number. I'm going to increase the number. I'm going to say 35, and maybe it's going to be well. Yeah, it's well now. So after that, I need to toggle this. So when I click on it, goes back to its own place. And if I click on again, and it's come to its own place again too. So here I also need to give this toggle a transition. So I'm going to come here and give it a transition. So here I'm going to say transition, and it's going to take 0.5 seconds. So if I click on this, if I click on this, oh god, I should have a transition. So I can give it, so we can, this is looking better, and also this is at the right side. So anyway, I'm gonna come here, and we want to toggle this. To do so, here I always use a trick which is called count click, and you can use it either. I'm gonna say click, and by default it's going to set to 0. And after that, here I'm gonna come and increase to this number of clicks. I'm gonna say click plus plus, and if the number of count a click is the reminder of count click by 2 is here we need to do a parenthesis, because we want this to occur before the assignation. This if it's equal to 1, then do this for as. I'm gonna open up this and close it off here. And after that, we're gonna write our else statement. So in the else statement, we're just gonna say toggle span. So I'm just gonna copy this out and put it to its oven position where it was before. So I'm just gonna paste it down here, and if I go here, and it was actually, let me check the span. The span was the top of margin top of 5 pixels. So I'm just gonna set it to 5 pixels. So I'm gonna say just 5. So now if I click on, actually this is, it's working well, but I don't know why it didn't get the transition. So after that, here we need to change this text. To do so, here I access this one. So I'm just gonna come here. Inside this, we're just gonna say title.innerHTML. Inside its innerHTML, we're just gonna pass login. It was login. It's gonna be sign in, and I'm just gonna copy this out again and paste it down there and change it to login. So I'm gonna go here, and if I click on, it changed to sign in. If I click on again, login, sign in, login, sign in, login. So this was from our project, but may you guys ask, this is just a signing, and how you gonna submit this form? Because all the forms are need to store in a browser. In a database. It should save a data. So to do it, you just can select the button here. And if you select the button, it's gonna gives you the attribute of href that you can change its href, and it's when you submit your button, that's gonna be refer or redirect to different routes. So I hope that you understand. If you didn't, here you can pass this button inside an anchor tag, this one. Put it inside an anchor tag, And in an anchor tag, if you access an anchor tag in JavaScript, it gives you the ability to access its property, which is href, and you can set its href to different routes. So I hope you guys understand something, and if you enjoy this kind of tutorials I upload it every day, you can hit that subscribe button to my YouTube channel. Else, take care of yourself and stay safe. So I'm gonna end the video. I don't want to end the video because I really want to talk more.